Listener supported independent radio, KWSS 93.9 FM. It's the Dani Cutler Show, and those of you listening can't see him, but you can go and look at the Zoom later. The wonderful, amazing, handsome Matty Steinkamp is here with me from the Indie Film Fest. Hi, Matty.
Hey, Dani. Thanks for having me. Cheers.
I know. I've got my water. So we were saying before I hit record that this is the 4th year of Indie Film Fest, and this is the 4th yearly interview we've had about the Indie Film Fest.
This is so exciting. I really can't believe we've done. I mean, I can. We have done this 4 years in a row, the same exact month, same exact time. And what a cool way to like keep it going. You know, we get to check in on each other. It's a new year, but we're also like talking about like the newest, art that is coming out, this year. I love being able to even like right now we're getting ready to launch our 4th year, right? And we're able to go back and see the artists and the filmmakers and the musicians that were in years past and start seeing now some of them are repeats. Like our very first year we had a music video from Mega Ran, and here we are in year 4, we have another music video from Mega Ran, and and he's blowing up. He's on the Billboard charts now as an independent.
It's insane. It's
so cool,
insane and awesome. And I mean, just to show, and also, wow, we've known each other a long time, Matty. Way more than 4 years.
Well, how old is KWSS now?
Oh gosh, we're in 17 years.
We've known each other 17 years, Dani.
Maybe a little less. Didn't you come around like when Beef started? So, I mean.
Okay, so maybe, yes.
So
yeah, you're right.
But still, I mean, probably 14, 15.
Yeah.
A long time.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It's crazy.
All right. Well, I could sit and chit chat with you, and our listeners will be like, yeah, you're good friends. We get it. But what we're really here to talk about is the Indie Film Fest, which is happening February 10th, 11th, and 12th. And it's going to be taking over Roosevelt Row, downtown Phoenix area. And so exciting that it's going to be in person again after not being in person last year. So first off, for anyone who doesn't remember, or for our newbies out there, what is the Indie Film Fest?
Indie Film Fest is a 3-day extravaganza of art, film, and music and community. We go out there and try to find and watch submissions that are submitted to us, but our goal is to find 30 films and music videos that kind of like give us an edge on like what the new independent artist is doing out there. So we focus on short films, documentaries, music videos, experimental films. We've had feature films in the past. This year we have quite a bit of comedy sci-fi in the short film world. We have this is the second time we're able to have a virtual reality film in the festival. In past years, we've had a virtual reality like music video, like the Harper and Mauve's music video. This year we have a short film that is in full virtual reality, and it's an animated film that is a documentary animation. So it's
an animated film that is all virtual reality.
Yes,
that is cool.
Yeah, it's definitely it's showing how the artwork that is typically done on like flat piece of paper can now be turned into this entire world around us.
Amazing.
That's the kind of stuff we're looking for, and that's the kind of stuff we're featuring this year. We have films from all over the world. We have films from Nigeria, films from Australia, films from New Zealand, Ireland, Mexico. We have films from all different parts of the United States. We've got over 10 films just from locals here in Arizona. And, it's tough when we're getting a lot of films submitted to us, had over 200 or 300 films submitted to us this year.
Wow.
Just on Film Freeway alone was 180 submissions. And we watch every single film. We have a selection committee that goes through these films that Dani Cutler is a part of.
I know. I've watched
and
many films recently.
and we watch the music videos, and we also go out and try to find even some that are not necessarily submitted to us. And I think that's where we find our golden nuggets kind of thing. Like this year with Paper Foxes and Megaran, both of those were local artists that didn't necessarily submit their films, but community members came to us and said, you should really look at this music video as an indie film fest music video, kind of thing. Yeah. And sure enough, our selection committee came together and selected them. And we might have not seen those videos in the festival we didn't have such an amazing community. So yeah. That's a big part of the festival, is we're really trying to activate the community. What do you want to see as a community? What do you want to see on that screen that best represents you? We really feel like we tap into that throughout the year, asking filmmakers, partnering up with organizations like Roosevelt Row, the Irish Cultural Center, Cahokia, these groups, KWSS, coming in, being a partner is a big part of finding this content so that we can get to our weekend in February and be like, this is the new hottest stuff. Yeah. This is what we all need to level up to now that we're in 2022.
Yeah. And what makes the Indie Film Fest, to me, makes it very unique is that it's exactly in the title. I mean, it's independent artists. I think that's what makes you stand out and differentiates you from other film festivals that are out there, because any other film fest in Arizona, or I mean, especially, well, we'll just say in Arizona, because I'm sure there's other independent film fests in the country and in the world, of course, but in Arizona, the film festivals are a combination of not just indie, but they do a lot of mainstream, and they'll do feature films, things that you'll end up seeing anyway on Netflix or Amazon or in the theater. But Indie Film Fest doesn't have that. And I think that makes it very unique and makes it stand out. And it also gives more love to those independent filmmakers that are out there and gives them attention that they wouldn't get in those other major film festivals. Let me know if I'm on track there.
100%. When our partners, our festival directors, Peter Juarez, Cash Cole, and myself.
Oh, great people, all of you.
When we came together and said we wanted to make this festival, we wanted to fill the gap. The gap, we had just had our film, "You Racist, Sexist, Bigot," in 20 film festivals around the country. And most of the festivals, we were competing against films that were $100,000 and $200,000 budget featured documentary films that were later, to be on NPR or PBS or Nat Geo, that had an existing budget behind it.
Right.
And while they were amazing, beautiful films, our film looked and sounded the same quality, yet ours, was for 1/10 of the budget that they had for that. And we really felt like there's really a gap in the system that doesn't, there's not enough highlighting these artists that are creating the same exact quality as these major studios, but doing it out of their laundry room.
Right.
Doing it out of their parents' basement or the computer lab at school. And we really, over the last 4 years, I feel like I'm so proud to see, we're 120 films now that are 100% independent, that weren't major budgets, that all, like, you go back and you could watch this, you could binge watch the Indie Film Fest playlists, and there's 120 films now that we've really had to a piece of giving them a platform,
right,
to jump off of. And I'm excited about this year. We have a lot of great films, great artists this year.
Oh, absolutely. Let's talk about how the weekend is going to play out.
Yeah.
Because over 3 days, how do you decide what's the theme for each night of the film festival?
Yeah. So part of this year was we had to go back to the drawing board. God rest their soul, and hopefully there's a future for them. But our friends and partners at Film Bar closed their doors, and so they will not be a part of the festival this year for the first time. This really got our team to think a little bit more creatively in how we could evolve the festival. We teamed up with Roosevelt Row CDC as a major partner in the festival this year to bring the festival to the Row in a way that no one's ever done a festival in downtown Phoenix before. And so opening night is going to be here at our new studio at the Garden. We have a screening room now that seats 20 people, and there'll be 2 screenings that night, opening night. It's already sold out, unfortunately, for anybody that was interested in wanting to come. In fact, it's sold out, and our VIP guest list is sold out as well.
It's awesome. So it's all good.
Yeah, we're trying to, we really are trying to be conscious about the pandemic. Only having 20 people in the building at one time. Masks are required. We're having voluntary rapid testing on site if you want it. Awesome. We're not serving any food to reduce the amount of like
having
masks
to take
coming
off the
off.
mask and
we will have drinks available here for beverages, tea and water and whatnot, and sodas for our guests. But we're trying to keep it small for the only indoor space opening night. And then that really kicks off the weekend for the festival by having this opening night here. We get to screen one of my new films that just got announced on the 20th. So Unpacking Space, with the story of Dr. Cyan Proctor.
Yes.
The day after she got back from being in an orbit for 3 days, she called me up and said, I want to tell my story and I want it to be an independent film. And I went over to her place one-on-one. We shot the whole thing in 2 days, and we get to premiere it at opening night. So that just got announced this week, along with several other amazing films. Opening night's going to be a really special thing for us as a group because we've worked so hard to build out this new theater, this screening room that'll be available for independent filmmakers to have their own fundraiser screeners here in the future, to also kind of fill that gap. But moving from there to Friday, we head to Roosevelt Row. There'll be 2 screens on Roosevelt Row, one just off the street by the Monorchid and one just off the street by Roosevelt Row Welcome Center. These will be free to the public. Anybody can come out and see.
They're outdoors, right?
They're outdoors. Yeah. It's they're 10-foot screens. You'll be able to hear the sound. There'll be a sound system at each screen. They'll be playing the same films. So you can stand at either film and either screen and be able to catch the same thing. Is it going
to be at the same time, just running
same
at the
time.
Same time? Okay.
Yeah, same time. So from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, there'll be screenings outside. But before that, from 5 o'clock to 7 p.m. is our first Film Fest mixer. Cash likes to call it the gosh darn, another way of saying it, Indie Film Fest wine mixer. That's going to be at the Churchill from 5 to 7. Filmmakers, musicians, the entire entertainment industry should come out and mingle and talk to each other and hand over cards to each other and take pictures with other people from around the country that are coming to the festival. And this is the kind of space that we're trying to create where it's free to the public. It's 100% accessible for all the different creative people in town to share their contact information with like-minded people with the hopes of finding that next person they want to collaborate with.
Absolutely.
This is a dream that our team has been wanting to do for years. A buddy of mine, Parko Richardson, he's a local producer here, really, came to us and said, we need to have a mixer for the festival this year. It needs to be significant, and it needs to be a place where it's accessible for people, that it shouldn't matter how much money you have, that you should be able to come to this thing and be able to share your contact information.
Right. That's still the biggest deterrent with, especially when you're independent. It's a lack of funds. And to think that, oh, I have to go to this event and I have to pay. I mean, sometimes even like $15-20 is just too much for a couple of hours, and they would rather skip it. And to be able to just go, and the Churchill's a great space for something like that. It's open, you know, you can get food from wherever you want to get food from. It's a beautiful spot to have that. And then you just walk right across to go see the films at 7. So
yeah, the Roosevelt Row collaboration has really taken off to what we believe is going to be a lifelong commitment together of growing something really amazing for our community with Indie
and
Film Fest.
Sustainable. It'll be very sustainable to help the community grow there. I mean, Roosevelt Row, I didn't realize that they even had a welcome center for the whole Roosevelt Row until we had that meeting. And I mean, it was just amazing to see how a strip of road matters so much to the downtown community, if that makes sense at all.
Well, and it does to us artists, right? Like, I mean,
it is the art district right there.
And I think that's what was missing also with the film festival scenario in Arizona is there is no major film festivals downtown. Like it just always blew my mind. Like, why is every film festival in Scottsdale? You know, but when you look at the economics of it all, there is a little bit of classism happening in the sense that, you know, the elite don't want to contribute to the lower spectrum of the economy for the arts industry. Right. This is why it costs $25 to $35 to $50 to go to any film festival in town. This is why it costs $50 to $75 to $125 to submit your film to the festivals. We have a submission fee that basically covers like our bare bones, you know, costs to have the platform. And we really went out there this year, and KWSS was a big partner in this, and we gave grants to filmmakers and music videos. And I believe half of the submissions that we received in music videos came from KWSS grants that were free submissions. And this is something that has to continue. There has to be access to people that want to submit these things without having to pay an arm and a leg for, you know, a pay to play scenario. Right. Now, getting to Saturday night of our festival, we'll be giving awards away, and this year we'll actually be giving cash prizes away. So like this is one thing that even though an artist might have spent $15 to get their film at our festival, it's likely they have 1 in 30 chance, or rather 1 in 10 chance in most scenarios, to win an award that would get them $100 all the way up to $3,000. Right. And this year, all of our award winners will receive a filmmaker grant that we're developing with the Roosevelt Row. You can go to Roosevelt Row's website, donate to their filmmaker grant by putting your notes IFF. And all of the filmmaker grant money will be awarded at the Saturday night screenings, this is something, another one of these dreams that, you know, we've never been able to provide an actual grant to a winner before, whereas now we actually get to do this.
Yeah, they can put that towards their next film,
or paying off their debt that they had going into this one. You know, like there's a lot of these grants out there that are stapled to something next, and a lot of times we forget that a lot of these people just spent their life inheritance to make this one film.
True.
So we want to encourage the promotion of community and crowdfunding, and this is one way that we're able to do that. Saturday night is going to be at the Irish Cultural Center in the Castle Courtyard.
Love it.
Starts at 7:00. We'll have 3 different screens at that venue outside. There'll be a Q&A afterwards with the filmmakers, along with a full award ceremony. The Irish Cultural Center came to us really with open arms. I had done an event earlier this last year that was very successful for all of us. And we just had such an eye-opening experience being in this beautiful courtyard of this downtown castle, the only one, you know, that you can see right on Margaret Hance Park, that we said, imagine if filmmakers from all over the world could see their film screen in front of a castle.
Yeah.
And then we just like literally said that out loud. And in our next meeting, we locked it in with the Irish Cultural Center to have it be the finale, the grand finale. And I just can't wait for that moment to see these filmmakers getting to see their film in this new type of arena, that makes them feel royal. It gives them a sense of like a royal feeling that they've made something that has got to this level of expression.
Well, and even if they don't win one of the prizes or anything, it still validates what they've been working towards, because you are giving it this platform and you are making it, you know, it's important, you know. It's not every single film in this festival is equal in importance, regardless of who's winning those prizes.
100%.
Know? And you're making all of these filmmakers who have worked so hard feel that. And that's what's important too. And that's what also will motivate them to continue.
Yes.
You know,
and
you
we
don't
all
want to
need that.
go to a film festival and you work so hard and then you barely have anything said. It can really like hurt your ego enough and just hurt your pride enough to where you're like, well, why should I even continue? It's not doing what I need it to do. For instance, like with You Racist Sexist Bigot, you really got an eye-opening experience being out at all those festivals, but instead of it deterring you, you figured out how to use what you've learned to not just help yourself, but other artists, other indie artists. And I think, I mean, I commend you for that. That's wonderful. That, I mean, to me, I mean, this is why I've been with KWSS. I mean, it's music, but this is why independent is so important to me, and working with other independent communities like the Indie Film Festival, because together we rise.
Yes, yes, Dani.
So,
watch out.
Boom. I would drop my mic, but it's like a secondhand mic and I need it.
Yeah.
So something else that you're doing with the
Thank
festival,
you, Dani. That was really nice what you said.
You know, I believe it. This year is 15 years with KWSS. If I didn't believe it, I would not still be here. I believe in it. I believe in it. Another thing that you're doing with the Indie Film Fest, last year, because of the pandemic and everything was still closed down, you were completely online, and which was a lot of fun, actually. I enjoyed it too. I mean, I love to be, of course, with everybody in person, but I went out and I got some takeout from a local restaurant and I brought it home and I just sat and I was like, just screened it onto my television, right? And it was a fun evening and I really enjoyed it. What did you learn from doing everything online? And are you going to use any of the things you've learned in this year's festival?
Yeah, so I'm right there with you. We had a really good time with the online platform that we created last year. It was fairly easy. Vimeo Pro really made it easy for us to kind of manage it ourselves. This year, we came into this year really wanting to provide like an outdoor experience so that no matter what, it was going to be safe kind of thing, or for people to gather.
As safe as we could be for being in person.
Yes. Well, and also, I mean, all of our venues are under 500 person venues.
Right. Yeah.
So like when you look at our venues, like we're having less people in any of our venues than going to church.
Right.
You know, or going to a mall, you know, like and we're outdoors, and
even a major theater. I mean, the bigger theaters.
Exactly. And so we purposely chose our venues for this reason. Even with Roosevelt Row, it's such a big venue, you know, that we were like, people have enough space to be apart from each other. When we think about that, we really wanted to like dive into like, how do we make it easier? You know, how do we make everything easier so that even if people wanted to come opening night, maybe they wanted to stay home the next 2 nights.
Mm-hmm.
So what we learned from last year was how to make the platform. Number one, it totally worked.
It did.
I think we had like one person email us saying they didn't know how to log in. So we decided that this year, what we were going to do is make it so that it was a financial generator for the filmmakers.
Mm.
And so just like iTunes kind of revolutionized the access to getting to everybody's cell phone with their music, we want to do that with all these indie films for the 3 nights. So basically, they'll be, each night will be $10. A person can go on our website and purchase access to the screenings that night, and they could watch it on their cell phone if they wanted to.
Nice.
They could watch it on their home, TV or whatever. Yeah. They can live stream it from their device or whatever. But then it also protects the artists, because after Sunday, we take everything down. Mm. So then it allows the filmmakers to continue to screen their films at other festivals and not lose their online status of not having their film available to be streamed online.
Right.
This was a lot of the issues that a lot of filmmakers run into, is that if they want to screen it at other places, having it online actually messes up their chances.
Oh, interesting.
The way we're doing it seems to allow, because it's only for the 3 days that our festival is, and it's only to ticketing people.
Yeah.
So you have to buy a ticket in order to see the screenings. Now, all of the money, 100% of the sales from the digital ticket links will be distributed equally amongst all 30 filmmakers.
Oh, fantastic.
And our goal this year is to get each of these filmmakers at least $100. So our goal is to get every single filmmaker and everybody just to share the digital links worldwide. And then hopefully this turns into a thing that people will see, like each year, they could basically help fund 30 filmmakers in one weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's amazing. Just after such a short amount of time. And then with everybody needing to be online, since 2020, and people are still doing it. I mean, I'm still doing Zoom interviews just because it's number one, it's easier, it's very accessible, and I get more content because I've got this to post on, I've got the video to post, online as well. But it has also opened the door for how to make paid events online easier and more accessible. And that just opens up a whole world, because I think last year is when you probably had the most global attendance of the festival because of that. People aren't going to fly here unless they're the artists, and they can, if they're the filmmakers and they're able to do it, of course. But just somebody wanting to watch the festival isn't going to come from England to Arizona.
We had over 10 countries had people.
That's so cool.
The festival was seen from a device in 10 different countries last year.
See, that's amazing. And that's something that shouldn't go away, I think. And I'm glad that you've adapted and taken what you've learned again from last year and said, how do we incorporate it? And so now you could be there in person to see. And if you are in another country, or you can't make it, like you said, because it's still kind of iffy. So I'm sure a lot of people might be like, oh, I don't want to be out 3 nights in a row. So, we'll stay in on Saturday, or we'll stay in on Friday, or whatever. So that's so wonderful.
I think that number one, we have to be flexible. And I think number two, we have to be accessible.
Yes.
And I think as long as because I mean, our bottom line is we are trying to be the most inclusive film festival in the world, both with our selections and our submissions and our accessibility, but also with our distribution. I mean, our goal in future years is that we're having satellite screenings all around the country at different theaters, the same exact time, 3 nights, same 3 nights kind of thing. I can see that model is attractive because Sundance did that the last 2 years, and they generated more revenue last year than they ever had before because of their online sales.
Amazing.
This year they just canceled, and they're having everything online again. And because they were able to have both an online and an in-person platform, it's not going to stop their progression.
Right.
And I do think that, like, in a perfect world, we'd be building virtual platforms for our artists to be able to have their own Q&As. We don't really have those resources yet, but that would be amazing. We would have, some type of a forum that could be like, the filmmakers could come here, get on camera, and be able to do a live talk back with question and answers. We're almost there. We are filming discussion, filmmaker discussions here at the studio that will go out that week, but they're all pre-recorded. But I think we're so close to being this, like, perfect hybrid the Indie Film Fest will probably always be, which is this have an importance of a community gathering that is safe and inclusive and accessible, and then also have a platform that is global, that is also safe and inclusive and accessible. Yeah. $10 to watch 10 films is a pretty big bargain. $1 a film. You're not going to get that. There's no more dollar movie theaters.
That's right. That's right. It's now discount theaters. They're not dollar theaters.
And I think every single streaming platform is like $9.99 a month. So I really believe that what we learned from last year put us into a better driver, we're driving a better car now. Having the availability of having the Irish Cultural Center and having Roosevelt Row be these outdoor spaces that we've always wanted. I could just see that. I'm hoping that will just be a many years, collaboration kind of thing.
Absolutely. And I'm excited. KWSS will be out there on Friday night at Roosevelt
Hey,
Row.
we're together 4 years in a row so far, Dani.
Yes, high five through the screen. Boom. But we'll be out there. So Friday, KWSS will be out there, which I hope it'll be more than me, because I'd love to see more KWSS people, but me for sure will be out there for the screening that night, because that's when we're doing the music videos. So definitely, if any of you come out for the festival on Friday, find me, say hello, watch some movies. It'll be a good time. So Matty, other than your own film that you're premiering at the festival, what are a couple of films that you're excited for people to see this year?
Oh, wow. So all 30, this is
no, not all 30, just like 2.
Yeah, I know. But I'm going to preface this comment by saying every single film in our festival this year is the best selections we've ever made.
I believe it.
They are,
because I've seen a lot of them already.
Every single one of them can be an award winner. Every single one. It's going to be completely, the grand jury it's going to be an emotional decision. And I'm glad that we have a very, very, broad committee that we can, like, depend on them. If they want to have an emotional decision, they can, but it's going to, I really feel like it's what you're going to connect to, the storyline you're going to connect to the most is going to be your favorite, as opposed to in years past where, wow, that one was a much better quality, or that one had really great acting compared to everything else.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to know what you're thinking, because not so much since you're a filmmaker, not so much from the technical point of view, but what are a couple of the films that, like, spoke to you on a more personal, emotional level?
So there is a film called Mishandled, and it's a short drama fictional film that I love the way that, well, first of all, the director wrote, directed, acted, and sings in it.
Oh, wow.
And she is Samantha, what is her last name? Dear, it's Samantha where?
I might actually have the list up myself.
Yes, I just forgot her last name.
It's okay.
Samantha Marie Ware is the
Oh, okay.
director.
Okay.
Look her up, follow her. She's amazing. She's going to be the next hottest thing in film. As long as she continues to do what she's doing, it is the way she told the story, the way she acts in it, there is dance in it. There is singing in it. There is very fashion art, cinema in the beginning that is just like a whole different genre on its own. That is like this dream she has in it. The film is called Mishandled, and it's screening Thursday and Saturday night at the festival.
Nice.
That's probably like the one of the ones that sticks out. Like, oh my gosh, this is. I want to make a film. I when I saw it, I said, I want to make a film like this.
I love it.
I definitely think on the documentary side, we get a world premiere this year that is pretty big deal for the festival. It's The Voices of the Grand Canyon, directed by Deidre Peaches. Deidre is a good friend of the festival. She's been featured several times. She's a previous award winner with her film, A Journey to Alaska, Celebration. She came to us this year. She just finished the film and said she wants to premiere it at Indie Film Fest, which is a huge honor to us. The Voices of the Grand Canyon features stories of what the Grand Canyon sounds like and is to the tribes that surround the Grand Canyon. It was produced by the Grand Canyon Trust. And it's just a really great celebration of Indigenous art and Indigenous culture, all packaged by an award-winning Indigenous filmmaker that, in my eyes, is probably one, if not the best, documentary filmmaker in the Southwest. Deidre Peaches. She's definitely probably the most decorated. She's a former Sundance selectee, and just an all-around awesome human being. So her film, Voices of the Grand Canyon, screens Saturday night at the Irish Cultural Center, but we'll also be doing a exclusive in-person filmmaker discussion panel with her on Friday night on Roosevelt Row at Cahokia. So that'll be a really cool, and we'll be live streaming that event as well.
Oh, great.
So that should be pretty cool.
Oh, fun. Oh my gosh. There's just so many. I would love for you to talk about all 30 of them, but people just have to go to the festival and see the films because they're going to be so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah. Both those films, and I mean, I could go on for so many other lists, but those.
Oh, I know.
I saw, that was a joke. You're good. She got me, everybody. They definitely, like, when I saw both those films, I said to myself, I'm like, this is a style that is unique, that is not that describes what indie is. It's self-made. It's this one-stop shop. Like, Deidre was the DP, the director, the editor of this documentary.
Wow.
Samantha is the writer, the director, the actor, like there's so much of this like indie creativity that it's like they're unicorns. They're one of a kind type artists where they can do singing, dancing, photography, editing, graphic design, and fundraise, and you're just like
that's crazy. Yeah.
And I think that is the future of independent filmmaking, is celebrating these women, celebrating these types of artists.
And we absolutely should. And I said it at the beginning of the interview, and what you've done with this festival over the past 4 years and how it's grown is just amazing. And I just can't wait to be doing our 10th interview or our 15th interview, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's just going to be fantastic. So how can people go and either get their online pass or find out more? indiefilmfest.com, right?
indiefilmfest.com, indiefilmfest.com, indiefilmfest.com. get you the whole schedule, get you tickets to Saturday night. We still have tickets Saturday night for $20. And the online tickets went on sale the 20th, January 20th. So they'll be on sale. You can get each day for $10 online. And you could see all 30 films for $30.
It's amazing.
From your own home, or you can also technically you see all 30 films for $30 in person too. If you would have if you would have bought tickets to opening night, which were $10.
Yes. So, how wonderful, Matty. Oh, so excited for this weekend, February 10th, 11th, and 12th, the Indie Film Fest. And don't forget about the 11th, Friday on Roosevelt Row, and come hang out with KWSS that night at the festival. It's going to be a gorgeous night. It's going to be wonderful to see how this plays out, because it's like new territory. And so it'll be nice to see how it works with the screens and everything outside. It's just going to be a fantastic weekend.
And we'll have safe sanitizer, non-toxic sanitizer from Strawberry Hedgehog.
Yay!
They've really come out and been our fourth year as a sponsor. Really glad to have them on board again. Of course, it's my wife's business, but they're providing sanitizer at all of our locations this year. They're also providing N95, pink N95 masks that we got online and got shipped to us. So they'll be free N95 masks at every single location.
Great.
We are growing, and we want to invite people to grow with us. We have a filmmaker grant you can contribute to. If you want to support Indie Film Fest on the music side, you can also just donate and contribute to KWSS.
Oh, man.
Having KWSS involved in all 4 years has been a very integral part of our success, and keeping this radio station going is keeping film growing in Phoenix. So please head on over to kwss.org, contribute, donate to their nonprofit organizations, a tax deductible donation that you can do. And by donating to KWSS radio, you are helping supporting independent films. Dani and the entire crew come on board every single year, and they promote these films in ways that no other festival gets. Like, none of the other festivals in town gets this type of treatment. KWSS came on board with us from year one and said, we want to do this with you. We want to support independent music, independent film, and what we can all do in return is help support this radio station and contribute any kind of dollar you have. You can donate a car. I have several friends that have donated cars to this org.
You're so
do what
sweet,
you can,
Matty.
and you can also hit Dani Cutler up and volunteer for her events.
Yeah, you
this
should.
This is a real easy thing to do. We have a great community of volunteers with the radio station. I've been a volunteer. My wife has been a volunteer for over 10 years now. We've been volunteering for the station in several different ways. If you're a photographer, if you're a camera person, you want to come out and film Indie Film Fest coverage for KWSS, hit up Dani Cutler. We want to encourage creatives to come out and support, and KWSS definitely is a great starting place. That's where I got my start as a photographer. And I definitely recommend the volunteers, find your way to Dani Cutler's email and help out the station.
Find your way. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much, Matty. Oh my gosh. You're going to make me, can't hear my tears on the radio, but if you want to see my makeup smeared across my face, you got to watch the Zoom video later.
We all love you, Dani. Everyone I know loves Dani Cutler.
This is what this is about. I mean, independent radio, independent film, they're not separate entities. They're not standalone things. It all works together. I mean, all movies have music, not just music videos, but there's a soundtrack in movies. everything is just connected, and that's why this relationship between KWSS and Indie Film Fest works so well on so many levels. So it's just an honor to be involved with you and to see how this has taken off, and to see how you as a filmmaker with Mango Skies and everything has taken off. Oh my gosh, we'll just keep patting each other on the back for the next 45 minutes, 2 hours. No, Matty, you're great.
This year's festival is all about the creatives that we went out and found to be a part of the festival. I mean, we definitely, PETA and I are definitely showcasing 2 of our films. We're not a part of the competition.
Right.
We've never been a part of the competition when we showcase our films. But and in fact, this year we were like, okay, we're not going to show any of our films this year. But so many people, like, they're like, you have to show, like, I don't have time to go to come to 2 different world premieres, can you do it all in one place, kind of thing. And this year's all about these world premieres that the filmmakers that we found that are part of our community, and everything is working out too for a lot of these artists. I mean, just the success story that we're seeing with Mega Ran and being an independent on the Billboard charts.
Yeah.
This is the type of stuff that we're hoping can continue with artists that we are developing, that we're showcasing. And it's so beautiful to see. I'm so happy for Mega Ran and for that whole team of people that have been working with him for so many years to help get his name out there, build an audience as an independent. The stuff he's done himself with his YouTube channel, and being so innovative with music and education and hip hop, starting a writers community here. We want to just congratulate him and put him on our platform and make sure people like follow artists like Mega Ran, follow artists like Deidre Peaches, follow artists like Samantha Ware, like these artists. And if you want to follow them, just follow Indie Film Fest on Instagram or Twitter. Like, we're sharing their profiles. And what these artists are doing is just, it is out of this world, completely out of this world. And we're so lucky and honored to be able to showcase their films, to feature their films, to be able to say we premiered some of their films, like this is a big honor for us. And we're lucky,
Absolutely.
we're lucky we're all able to do this still,
That's wonderful. So thank you. And indiefilmfest.com, get all the information there, and mark your calendars for February 10th. Well, 11th and 12th, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
The 11th and 12th. And just keep in mind and keep watching Indie Film Fest, because that way you can get in on next year's opening night right away.
Yes.
Matty, thank you so much for hanging out with me. It is always a pleasure.
Thank you, Dani.
I'm like, did he freeze? Where did he go? Did he freeze? Is he messing with my brain? You're messing with me, Matty Steinkamp.
I love you, Dani Cutler.
Thank you, Matty. And we are going to, if you're listening to KWSS right now, we're going to get back to the music, and make sure you go and see this entire interview on Zoom later on. Thanks, Matty.
Thank you, Dani.